I'm here with Future Generations Commissioner for Wales, Sophie Howe. Sophie, how do you believe that universal basic income can impact Wales?
So many of our problems are related back to people living in poverty, whether that's because they're not in work and increasingly because they are in work. So by giving everyone an unconditional basic income, we can help to lift literally millions of people out of poverty, and there's a long-term cost benefit to doing that.
Do you believe that universal basic income will combat poverty long term?
I believe that it could make a really substantial contribution. It depends on the level of the income that you set, but some of the modelling that I've been looking at suggests that at one level we could probably eradicate child poverty by 50%, and at a higher level we could completely eradicate it.
Although there's similar schemes around the country that provide support to the citizens and the communities, do you think that this scheme puts Wales in that top bracket of forward-thinking nations?
Well, there have been pilots in other parts of the world, mostly in really forward-thinking nations like Finland, for example. Finland always tops the charts in terms of, the best health, the best education and so on. And so it's no surprise that nations like that are looking at a universal basic income. Wales has a proud history of leading the way on progressive policy, having legislation to protect the interests of future generations, for example. And I reckon this should be the next iteration of that progressive policy making.
How big an impact do you think universal basic income will have on the Welsh economy and business in general?
Well, when we're putting money back into people's pockets and taking them out of poverty, those people tend to spend that money in their local communities, in their local services and so on. So, there are gains there. Not only are there gains to reduce demand in public services because poverty causes health problems and very many other problems, but there's also that money going back into the economy, which would certainly help to fund the programme.
What are your visions for Wales long term?
So my vision for Wales is one where we actually put the well-being of people and planet in the centre of what we do. So I think that we've become too obsessed with economic growth at all costs. And actually, some of the things, if I asked you what is it that matters in your life, you'd say your family, your community, whether you can go for a walk in your local nature reserve or whatever it might be, right? You wouldn't necessarily say it's my job, it's this, that and the other. So I think there's something about a Wales in the future valuing that kind of anything that makes a contribution to people's well-being, and certainly things that make a contribution to saving our planet.
For the full episode and the rest of the game plan content, head up to the website or wherever you find your podcasts.